Kurayamzi Vazeni Idrogzi Farol Trapura.
Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Samlab. As time in the Sol system elapses, many Guardians are asking questions. Where has Rasputin gone? And why haven't we discovered any other war mines? How much do we truly know about the Great Golden Age war mines? Much of the information about them was lost after the collapse. And now, in this new era of destiny, we find ourselves searching for old records to pull all pieces back together. You may be familiar with the war mind, Rasputin. But what is a war mind, I hear you asking? A war mind is a military artificial intelligence designed for strategic orbital or land warfare. They are so complex and intelligent that the Vex have difficulty simulating them. A network of hardened planet-side military installations and countless warsats were built during the Golden Age, prior to the collapse, and were coordinated by Rasputin. According to Ana Bray, Rasputin is the only war mind in existence, or at least the only war mind to survive the collapse. Although several war mind vaults across the system remain intact and functional, centuries later, they lie empty. A fragment of Rasputin was marooned on Earth in the Cosmodrome due to the fragmentation of the war mind network, but is able to remotely access some off-world installations thanks to the recent reactivation of the terrestrial complex comms array. Once the worm god Zol and son of Oryx, Nokris, were defeated in the catacombs of Mars, a fragment was reconnected to the greater Rasputin intelligence in the Hellas Basin region on Mars. While the relationship between the two is currently unknown, investigations by Tyra Khan uncovered the existence of sub-minds along with their war mind counterparts. Currently, the only 3 sub-minds known to exist are Charlemagne, Volospa and Malhayati, the 3 of which were paired with Rasputin. It appears that these minds were once mistakenly regarded by scholars within the city as being war minds in and of themselves. Nonetheless, there may be other war mind intelligence separate from Rasputin in existence. The idea of multiple war minds beyond Rasputin is reflected in several sources, as Rasputin is referred to as the brooding, wary first among equals, while other war minds are suggested to have fought and died during the collapse. Tyra Khan spent a decade in the search of the alleged second war mind, Charlemagne, only to find it is merely a sub-mind of Rasputin. In Season of Arrivals, we saw the arrival of the pyramids. Upon their entry into the system, Rasputin attempted to destroy them. However, it didn't work, and what happened next was fatal. With the pyramids still heading towards Mars, somehow Rasputin had been forced into some sort of emergency shutdown. Little is known about how or why this happened. Some rumors suggest they fired some sort of ontological EMP that destroyed much of Rasputin's networking. Have a listen to this lore entry from Duress Egress, titled Ana Frayed. Thus it reads: she had tried everything. The Great Bray, a lineage that promised to save them. For all her genius and moxie, this was beyond her. Rasputin lay dying in a dozen empty screens splayed out around Anna's command station. She could visualize the bleeding code running through her fingers. Zavala's voice was in her ear as ambient haze relegated to the background of her mind like distant gunfire. The image of the pyramid's distortion wave was still raw. This wasn't an attack. It was a command. A lazy dismissal of all their best laid plans. There were no explosions, no blaring sirens or sparks of dramatic electricity. Nothing to combat or fix. Just a guardian, walled in silent black glass and disbelief. She had been so sure. This is interesting. Toward the end of this lore entry, it suggests that Ana's ghost, Jinju, uses the light to extract what little of Rasputin was left and place it into a pillory engram. We've heard the term pillory used before in the web lore Legacy Part 2. Pillory mainframe are stations used to split Rasputin up in the event of insubordination. So, perhaps this engram belongs to this very same protocol. In a more recent web lore entry, we catch up with Osiris as he researches the planets engulfed by the darkness. We also learn a little about where Ana and Rasputin are now. Have a listen to this entry from Immolant, Part 1. Thus it reads, "For all their power, all their heroism, they have invited this fate, and when it came, they were not prepared. Phobos and Deimos orbit the grave of Mars, where a rolling depth festers, hungry and reaching out to the little moons caught within its influence. The war mind buckled, and yet somehow it ekes out existence, in hiding, a survivor again." Ana still holds on to the dead hope. She could be out in the field as a paragon of the golden age, charging forward to lead unsteady neophytes, like he was. Instead, she retreats to the city and lays her worries on Zavala's brow, promising a Rasputin perfected, to rebuke the assailing horrors of the night. But the war mind did not stop the pyramids, and unkept promises make Osiris weary. At least Sloane and Asher confronted the onslaught themselves one last time. How he longs for that absurd aplomb. But picture it. What if this repairing of Rasputin leads to other planets where we discover other war minds who could help with the reconstruction of Rasputin? We could call it Season of the War Mind. Maybe that's coming down the line. Seeing as we have had the original Rasputin saber strike included, it is curious to me why they would bring that particular strike back, and Mars is gone, and Siva is nowhere to be found. So why the saber strike? Is its relevance only integral to the story of New Lights, or is there something hidden? I guess we will have to wait to find out, but that's all I have for you for now. I hope you have enjoyed watching today's video. Feel free to leave a like or a comment, and consider hitting subscribe and the bell to be notified when my next video goes live. Remember that no matter what you're facing at this time, you can do all things. Stay safe and Godspeed.